ain't talking now. That's bullshit. Nigga, stay humble now. Stay humble. Come on now. Nigga, use that home a year and a half ago. Now you want to pop off? Come on, don't do that. Now you want to talk.
Just 1 week ago, the Phoenix Suns were on top of the world, decimating the Dallas Mavericks by 30 points in Game 5 to go up 3-2 in this Western Conference semifinals series. 1 week later, there are talks about whether or not Chris Paul is going to come back, what the future of DeAndre Ayton is going to be, DeAndre Ayton playing only 17 minutes in the final game of the season, and most importantly, the Phoenix Suns getting absolutely destroyed at their home court by Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. And we're going to talk about the fallout to all this, man, because this Phoenix Suns team could look significantly different next year, and it's all ironically on the hands of a man that they decided to pass up on with the #1 overall pick. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Now that the NBA playoffs are in full swing, every single dollar counts, especially if you want to use that money towards a parlay, which is why I partnered with Albert to save as much of my money as I possibly could. You see, the difference between Albert and a traditional bank is Albert doesn't charge overdraft fees. They won't charge you a fee for having a checking and savings account. And they even give cash back on debit card purchases. And they'll even work behind the scenes to make sure you save. Instead of opening a traditional savings account and hoping that you would remember to put money into it, which I definitely don't, Albert looks at your income and expenses and sees what type of money you could save. And they'll move some of that money into your savings account little by little without you even noticing, really. It's kind of like that feeling where you find money in your pocket that you didn't know was there. That's pretty much what it's like to have an Albert account. And let's say you're bad at managing your money like I am. Well, Albert has a feature that they call Genius, which is a team of financial experts that will look at your situation and answer any of your questions in the event that you get stuck. And they're so confident that you're going to like the app that they're willing to give you $150 when you use my link in the description down below, albert.com/TFM, open a checking account, and connect a qualifying direct deposit. You have nothing to lose, man. It takes like 5 minutes to create an account with my link in the description down below. And once you do it and open a checking account and link a qualifying direct deposit, they'll give you $150. That's albert.com/TFM. And thank you, Albert, for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Phoenix Suns had the opportunity to draft Luka Doncic with the #1 overall pick, and this is a very popular narrative in the NBA for some reason. Oh my goodness, the Phoenix Suns made a gigantic mistake by not drafting Luka Doncic with the #1 pick in the 2018 NBA draft, and as a result, Doncic is really making them pay at this point. Here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. Back in the 2018 NBA draft, Phoenix Suns were, and by the way, they still are, a fairly dysfunctional organization, but at least right now, they've done a significantly better job accumulating talent. I mean, to give you an idea, since drafting Devin Booker in 2015, during the 2016 NBA draft, they drafted Dragan Bender and traded for Marquise Chris, both players that didn't end up having successful NBA careers at all whatsoever. Dragan Bender being a foreign prospect, who was compared to the likes of Kristaps Porzingis at the time. During the 2017 NBA draft, they swung and they missed on Josh Jackson. So entering the 2018 NBA draft, this wasn't a team that necessarily could take any risks anymore. It was time to stop being a horrific and poverty franchise and time to actually put some solid pieces around Devin Booker. As a result of that, entering the 2018 NBA draft, the safest pick was DeAndre Ayton, and the player that was perceived to be the riskiest pick just simply because he was playing Euro basketball. And if you actually watch the Euro basketball games, you would be able to tell that this man's game easily translates to the NBA, was Luka Doncic. Actually, you could also make the argument for Trae Young, but at least this point actually contributes to our narrative. As a result, the Dallas Mavericks drafted DeAndre Ayton with the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. And I honestly can't blame them, because following that, things started to begin to sort of click for them. They also traded for Mikal Bridges that very same draft. In 2019, they traded down and drafted Cam Johnson. It was just a series of good moves for them. Obviously, there were some misses, but for the most part, things were starting to look up for the the Phoenix Suns. Eventually, they make it to the NBA bubble. They play out of their freaking minds. They went undefeated in the entire bubble, but they weren't able to play in the playoff portion of the bubble. And then they came out with a vengeance the very next season because they traded for Chris Paul that offseason. Now, a team that was completely devoid of a point guard has arguably the greatest pure point guard in NBA history captaining the team. And as a result, they were able to make it to the NBA Finals last year. And going into this season, there was a decent amount of drama. Of course, there's the stuff that Robert Sarver is being accused of, which we made videos on in the past, but there was also the issue of DeAndre Ayton's contract expiring. If you're the #1 overall pick in any NBA draft and you're at least above average to good, which in my opinion, DeAndre Ayton is above average to good, then there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you will at the very minimum get a maximum contract during restricted free agency. But that wasn't necessarily the case with the Phoenix Suns, as the Phoenix Suns didn't sign DeAndre Ayton to a contract extension. Now, my own personal theory as to why this could be is because DeAndre Ayton's skill set could be outdated for the modern NBA. The Phoenix Suns also went in and signed Chris Paul to a 4-year, $120 million contract, despite him being 36 years old. And they also signed his fellow 2018 NBA draft classmate, Mikal Bridges, to a 4-year, $90 million extension. So now things are a little awkward between the Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton, and this was definitely a make or break season for DeAndre Ayton if he wanted to prove his worth. Now, I don't think this is a situation where Ayton doesn't get a max contract from a team, because at the end of the day, he's a 23-year-old former #1 overall pick, has averaged a double-double throughout his entire career. The one knock on his game is he needs to extend his shooting range a little bit, and I personally think he has the potential to do that, although he hasn't necessarily tried throughout his young career so far. But it brings us to a very interesting place with the Phoenix Suns, because according to multiple sources, there is internal drama with the Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton. You even had Monty Williams coming out and saying that their drama is internal following a post-game press conference.
So he didn't play most of the fourth quarter. Is there any reason why? Is he hurt, or
it's internal?
So we might be wondering what the hell happened. Now, according to Nate Duncan, this was DeAndre Ayton's final defensive possession before he got subbed out. And as you can see, he's kind of helping on defense until he sees Jalen Brunson wide open for 3, and he barely goes over to close out on him. So Ayton would end up playing 0 minutes in the fourth quarter. And according to a witness of the game, this is apparently how it ended. Monty Williams asked DeAndre Ayton if he wanted to play, and then immediately yanked him out of the game. I couldn't hear Ayton's response. Then Monty was going to go at him to say something else on the bench, but the coaches stepped in and turned him away. Now, I'm going to give credit to Monty Williams where it's due, because if this was Doc Rivers, this would have been an absolute circus. When he was asked about the situation, he said that it was internal, but needless to say, man, things are going to get very interesting for the Phoenix Suns this offseason. What do they do in this situation? Because they already failed to reach a contract extension with Ayton before, and whether or not he is going to be a bona fide superstar in this league, he is definitely instrumental to the Phoenix Suns as Chris Paul's pick and roll partner, and a player that just has tremendous potential to expand his game offensively and defensively. But is that enough for you to hand this man a maximum contract extension? Well, that's a decision that the Phoenix Suns have to make. All I'm gonna say is we've critiqued the Utah Jazz in the past for building around their traditional center Rudy Gobert, and there's been times where they've been exposed by other teams as a result of this. But when you look at the Phoenix Suns, they have the ability to go big with DeAndre Ayton on the floor, or to go small with a plethora of wing defenders like Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder. So I don't think it's at a point where they need to move on from DeAndre Ayton, but at the very minimum, if you do decide to move on from DeAndre Ayton, at least trade him somewhere to get something in return. Either way, things could look significantly different for the Phoenix Suns this offseason. This is not the result I expected from this team at all whatsoever. I personally thought that they would beat the Dallas Mavericks at home in Game 7. Unfortunately, I was wrong, and Chris Paul lost his 5th Game 7 in a row. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. We have a documentary on why Chris Paul hasn't won a championship yet that I'm going to leave in the end screen for you guys. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.